GWM, go with more. GWM, go with more.
直播间的朋友们，大家好！今天是激动人心的一刻，欢迎您来到长城汽车的环塔拉力赛。
Welcome to the 2026 Taklimakan Rally Camp. So today we're having a 334.61 meters long distance race on hard packed roads through the Tianshan Canyon today. So we have distinguished guests join us today. This is a renowned Xinjiang tour guide, Dilinor. Hello everyone, Dilinor, a tour guide from Xinjiang. And the next one is very familiar here. It's Jack Wey, CEO of GWM, Chairman of GWM. Hello everyone, good morning. Yes, Jack Wey has been really stressful recently. He's just handed over vehicles across the country and been through a long process. So there's a question I want to ask for you is what's your first impression of the tour area base camp this time? My first impression was yesterday. I was deeply impressed. I was checking WeChat moment yesterday. I've seen many campsites before. It's like our Zhejiang racing team, T1 group, and group T3, and some of our competitors. What about the grand camps? This year, whether there has been a significant improvement, but the scale of these camps is also much larger than in previous years, which I remember 3 years ago. It seems to be only available in this kind of rally, but this year probably electric motorcycle seems to be more participating. We raced with 100 bikes, yet the difficulty level has also increased this year. 7,500 kilometers. We have a double section like an N39. So as a tour guide, I know you're extremely familiar with Xinjiang. So first, there's something I want to ask. Is Xinjiang is so grand. It's like as big as our competition. So when you're leading a group introduced to your group travelers, what will you introduce it to them? Yes, and as you know, Xinjiang is the largest province of our motherland. And every time we take guests to visit the northern and southern Xinjiang. We spend most of our days in the car. We find driving very tiring. Moreover, driving on these racing tracks are extremely challenging. I think it's really remarkable for a driver to drive on such tough tracks for so long, because after traveling in Xinjiang for such a long time, I've seen many domestic off-road vehicles on the road, and yes, I really like off-road driving myself, so I also pay attention and have read a lot about it online. These videos about the Tour of China are live broadcasts and I'm also watching them. Nowadays, the Tour of China have gradually become a calling card for Xinjiang. Therefore, I hope that because of these people living on the edge of the Taklimakan Desert in Xinjiang also possess a very bold and adventurous personality, which is very compatible with the tireless spirit of a driver. So I also hope to promote our Tour of China as well. So, Mr. Wey, GWM has been deeply involved in the Taklimakan rally for many years. We claimed the championship in 2015, and this year many international champion drivers have joined the team. You have always adhered to motorsport competitions. What is your original aspiration behind this persistence? Internationalism is inevitable in this event, and that's true. It also aligns with our concept of high-quality openness. In this way, Chinese drivers also need to go global. Indeed, overseas drivers should start competing with each other, not necessarily in opposition, but even individually. International navigation may lead to cooperation between them. Therefore, the China auto industry event signifies the transformation of China's automotive industry from a major country into a powerful one. The event cannot be bypassed, and that's why we have invited so many foreign drivers today. In-depth exchanges and cooperation with Chinese drivers have already begun because they are part of the same team. They might have been rivals on the track in the past, but now we're comrades in arms. And that's right, so they're already collaborating on understanding each other's habits and cultures, right? We can learn from these things and summarize them. And I also saw that I've heard that it might be referred to as this year's Dakar or next year's Dakar. If it's supposed to be check-in for this year, 2027, then next year. Seems like so we have added new recruits to our T1 team. It means that Chinese racing is being promoted overseas. Of course, Indeed, everyone is eager to participate in all types of track events. As a result, more and more automakers are getting involved in competitions. This can, as General Manager Wei mentioned, promote the development of off-road racing in China. What you said earlier was particularly good, but there is one point. There is that say no one can surpass another, and thus no brothers can against each other. In fact, this time on the competition field, we saw international racers and domestic team riders helping each other when facing difficulties, and together they rushed towards the finish line. That is truly touching. Friendship in such battles is very rare. Another question that I believe my friends are very curious about is that, in fact, Mr. Wei and GWM Group have personally been putting a lot of effort to improve themselves. So what do I say? In fact, in 2025, our GWM Group participated in the Tour de China and achieved quite impressive results. However, this year we have taken another step forward. Not only is there an international driver, as Mr. Wei mentioned just now, more importantly, we're all participating. We have tanks of 700, we have tanks 500, we have tanks 300, and we also have the GWM Artillery V6 and the GWM Artillery 2.0, basically, all the cars with excellent off-road performance on the GWM are here. So why put so much stress on them? In fact, I also heard from our organizers that we're very experienced in this area. It's about the event, and our CEO also served at Toyota for 10 years in a position called Alan. The purpose of the event is not just about dissemination, but also a lot of it is about verification, training, and even in actual combat. This is not an exercise. Exercise and this are two different things. This is something that has been summarized from actual combat. This includes the reliability of the cars, which is all qualified in data. Therefore, for our event, each team and each car, every competitor, every team, and our mechanics here are collecting a massive amount of data on this. And because of our understanding of the car during the modification process was not adequate, and they provided us with many valuable suggestions, including our intake temperature. Where is the intake point located? This is a great suggestion to bring down recent temperatures. There is also this small trick that he shared with you, which is how to do a better job in engine thermal management. So they've all gone through it. And there seems to be a Spanish driver here who has already run rally races and checked in. He ran it for 19 times, 19 years in total. It's been very rewarding, and their experience is invaluable. So we have learned this process through the practice in this competition after many long duration matches. This involves accumulating more data, applying this valuable data to our civilian vehicles and products, so that our products can actually achieve their intended destinations. It's really not about competitions in terms of... It might be about reliability, about not having problems. It's about durability, and that's the true essence. So, Dilinur, what you're seeing about these cars, just all the data we've collected on the track, and then when it comes to the consumers like you, that's why they'll be able to access during long-term travels. Here they will be a reliable friend. That's right, mass-produced cars won't leave you stranded halfway. Well, it is particularly important to have a reliable vehicle when traveling in Xinjiang. It's because the distance is so long, just for comfort, and there should be no problems on the road. This is very important, so it gives people a better and more reassuring experience. It goes on that winding mountain road, and our sense of experience will be even better. Well, now everyone really likes self-driving cars. If you have such a great product like GWM cars, and then you drive the GWM's model, such as Tank 300 and Tank 700. If I want to find out which route is the most challenging for self-driving in Xinjiang, let me introduce you to the Duku Highway, because the Duku Highway will bypass many Debachan peaks over 3 kilometers high, then give you the Duku Highway away, and the Duku Highway will bring you the sights of 4 seasons, and 4 seasons are 7. In August, snow walls up to 2 meters high can also be seen. So it's already at a high altitude, coupled with a low temperature and the winding couches. It's really incredible and beautiful, and it's worth taking a trip here. So how long is the entire journey? 561 kilometers, over 500 kilometers. You say that we must travel to both southern and northern Xinjiang ourselves from the time being. So Mr. Wei actually got up early this morning to review the drivers and cheer them for the journey. So after he visited this time, we know that there's another very important concept, which is the concept of co-creation. Therefore, we have this event at this time. Coleman's co-created teams include the Dongli co-created team yesterday during your visit to the field camp. How did you feel about the performance of our various teams? What were your thoughts? So firstly, we have lowered the threshold for this event. It's just that with more experience accumulated, and in this mutual assistance and support, it has played a very positive role. Therefore, the performance of the Coleman racing team is also very good. It makes shock absorbers, and they have their own racing team, but they were actually creating together. This summary, our modification experience is about the modification methods. We are the complementary advantages. This is how we created this platform, aiming to promote Chinese automobiles. This high quality of development, and this time, this is our protagonist, Mr. Tim Yao. As you all know, I encouraged this waistband device yesterday. It doesn't matter whether we call it a waistband tube or great team. Yes, I'm also from Shanxi. You and me, my hometown is Hebei. I just wanted to say, because I'm more familiar with Daxin, to be honest, it was him who introduced me to rallying as a beginner. This also counts as my master. Yesterday I said brothers and sisters, and I say, look, I've noticed two couples here. To conquer the mind is to cut through metal. To cut through the metal is cut through gold. Yes, my brother, have dragged your little sister into this circle to play it as well. Sometimes I think there's more happiness. Competition is a spirit. And the spirit is the happiness. Are you ready? If not, I can make a suggestion. So upcoming back to Ulaanbaatar and practicing hard. It's for Mr. Yao's team's games this year. They've really been particularly impressive. They are one of the very important cornerstones of our entire team. Because of him, now it's protecting us, not only our points and leading drivers, but also the points from other groups. The key is to see how our two drivers can perform well in the race. It's really not easy. Yesterday, he was still imparting his knowledge to others, saying to block the leak in the water tanks with the cigarette butts. This topic made me think for several hours, and I eventually understood why it could be blocked and why this water tank got sick for the first time. Called it cerebral hemorrhage. Well, cerebral hemorrhage turned into cerebral infection. So now it's not leaking anymore. I've just summarized this principle. We have discussed this language logic. Our cars is about to depart soon as well. This is our Nicholas. Have some very simple conversation.
The most important thing for today's race is happiness. Okay. Hope you have a very good race for today and have a good race for the whole championship. Okay. Thank you. We go for another more.
So he's saying thank you very much, and today we'll try to get a very good grade again today.
When you come back, we can celebrate tonight. God. 好，谢谢。Good luck. All the best. Yeah. 所以今天在比赛当中，我们可以看到呢。
So today in today's competition, there's some drivers are preparing here today.
所以给我们的。
Alright, let's take a shot of this. This is our current leading ranking. You can see Gerard today was already in the very front of this rank.
So how are you doing today?
Good. We're happy to be here. Yesterday we didn't have.
哎，这小伙子精神漂亮。
Yeah. The chairman said you are very handsome.
Thank you. 谢谢. No, yesterday we didn't have the best stage. So
Yeah.
Today we'll have a lot of dust. So yeah, the mission will be, how to say, trying to get to the finish, to not have any punctures. So if Nico has punctures, we can give him tires, and that will be the main goal.
OK， 他说呢，昨天他们比赛的进行的是比较艰苦一点，所以今天呢，他们希望
He said that yesterday they have a relatively tougher day.
是支持队友，就是刚才您说的互相之间的鼓励。
He said his main task today will be support his
尼
teammates,
古拉斯如果碰到一点麻烦，如果有爆胎的话，他们有轮胎，他们会
which is what you mentioned earlier about mutual encouragement. If there's more stones this day and Nicholas
这个
encounters some trouble,
我们这个比
for
赛
example, if there's a tire
个人的比赛，
problem, do you have anything else for our young competitors to say
也就
here?
是大家
Young
齐心
competitors
协
to
力
say here.
是我们获得好成绩的最
Because
重要
our
的
competition is not just about one
So the
person,
chairman said that,
but about
long distance
unity
rally
and
race is
cooperation.
not only for one person, one team, it's for the whole team. So the teamwork is a key word for success.
Yeah. Yeah.
Agree?
Yeah.
Yeah,
True.
absolutely. 他现在有很多很多的中国粉丝，非常的漂亮。I said
So
you
he
have a
has
lot of
many, many Chinese fans now.
So do you have anything to say to the fans?
No, just say hello. It's been, how to say, really long days, a lot of stages. It's been a long rally that we have tried and visited a lot of places here in China, and it's been really nice, the landscape. So yeah, happy to say hello to everyone that was before the start every day. And yeah, let's do the last two stages.
我刚才说呢，他现在拥有，因为他非常的英俊，所以拥有很多的中国粉
Because
丝。
to say that he's very handsome, so he gained many, many Chinese fans, and then he's very happy when he's come to China.
希望能够看更多的地方。
He wanna visit more places in China, and he hopes
结果
to have a relatively good outing in this competition. Right now, they're ready to set off.
一路顺风 ，All the best。好
Hope you all the best. Thank you.
加油加油，学得很快。
对，现在可以看到呢，我们的车手
Now you can see that all of our drivers
呼
here.
吸对吗？对，这边我们看到是年轻的女车手。
Now we have our young
也
Italian
是第一次
female driver here.
Great, how are you?
Busi,
哎，你好，Morning。
呀，魏总有什么问题要跟布希交流的？因为她是来自于意大利的一位女车手，而且
so Mr. Would you have anything you want to communicate with Busi here?
我
Because she's a very young
这个他因为
Italian
总部
啊，
参观
driver
过
here, and also the
我
first in the
先去我们
competition.
总部
Yeah.
魏总呢说
Yes, I know her for a long time.
你就
She
说
visited our headquarters
And,
earlier.
Mr. Chairman said that actually he already knows you because you visit the headquarters
Yes.
before the race.
Yes.
So how do you feel about the race, the whole race, and your performance and the team?
So the race is amazing. I'm honestly speechless because the special, even though are small, they are very hard and complicated. So for the 200 kilometers, we spent 6 hours, which is crazy. And the level of the dunes is by far the hardest that we encounter in the last years of racing. And the team is amazing, honestly. Also, we are all working very hard to bring home some good results. And yeah, it's crazy, this experience and this race. I didn't expect any of this.
他也说呢，是我问他对于整个的这
So I
个
was asking her about how she feels like of the whole competition. She feels that it's very incredibly unbelievable because it's such a grand event on such a big scale, and all the team is very united. And the support and facilities provided for her, as well as vehicles, are all very good. Especially during the competition, she didn't expect it to be so difficult. Sometimes for more than 200 kilometers, it took her 6 hours to finish, and facing so many sand dune challenges was so quite significant. And so a lady from Xinjiang here, what do you think about this? Originally, the Taklimakan Desert is part of the lives of peoples in Xinjiang. It is deeply associated with hardship in our hearts, and it is also known by the locals as Taklam. So the Sea of Death is a place from which one cannot escape clearly.
Got the nickname called the Death Sea. Yeah. Or the Sea of Death.
I know
why. Yeah. It's really tough. So she believes you are amazing.
Thank you.
You are one of the heroes because you have the courage to race here, to face the challenge, and to conquer it.
Yeah, I mean, dunes in Dakar are bigger but less complicated. Here they are smaller but very technical. So, yeah, but I'm very surprised by the Tank 500 because he climbs pretty good everything. So we were like, okay, we need to recharge, but we can go everywhere, so which is very good thing.
She is saying that the dune she's facing in Dakar during the competition is more challenging, but the complexity within the dunes of Taklimakan is far beyond that of Dakar. So herself is also thinking that by participating in such a race here and facing such challenges, it's very complicated, and after experiencing it, she can now handle any complex terrains or place in the world. Thank you, and yes, that's where it's small terrain area.
We have quite complicated areas compared to Dakar. So you're facing different challenges. Yeah. And yeah, it's quite difficult.
Yeah, but honestly, the car when has the battery is a power that I didn't get stuck for driving. Like car, climb everything.
Yeah, 他说呢，他的车真的是
So she's saying that her car is really nice car. She have never experienced such a battery power additionally given to her. And she can handle these terrains with ease. So thank you. Wish you all the best.
Thank you. Bye bye.
So this time our warcast is deeply impressed these foreign drivers because it gives them more confidence. There's no translation for this. Thank you, GWN Group. I feel very honored joining our team here. The feeling of holding the steering wheel is really great. 见风章, we all know, is all our own work, and this is what we do domestically. It's just that those who have been racing on the track for many years, they're quite well known in the industry. So what about our cars now? Basically, they all have a relatively large displacement. And secondly, they are powered by new energy with electric assistance. I don't know if this car has it. And yes, you said to develop it. The momentum is quite strong. So it's better if it runs well, right? To be honest, sometimes in endurance races, I always feel that it's not entirely fast. The key is experience. The key to experience is to have fewer problems, fewer detours. What do we call this time in our old saying? It's not about fear, nor speed, but about explosion. If something goes wrong, We need to take over an hour, but we can leave a long way ahead of that. In the desert, changing a tire task takes half an hour. But this time, with our new energy vehicle, especially in these particularly difficult stages, we've performed exceptionally well because we have the power to back us up. With this power, our vehicle has a long RPM output. Moreover, our system is powered by transmission. After turning it on, our low torque output is very linear and easy to control. It's not something that's abrupt. The four tires can be synchronized. Yes, they can be synchronized, not like the decoupled architecture, where its sensors always have this latency. So we're talking about that, which is hyper. Well, for that car, we also developed a special model called escape model, which allows it to have a fast lock in front of gear for its escape capability. So, of course, we will continue to work hard. So, safety first, safety first. Come on. Hello, Hailong Ma. Come on, this is Mr. Ma. This year's race can be described as a slow burning one. The first few stages not showing were uneventful, but it was now only in the second half that he really showed his strength. In fact, this is also a challenge for Mr. Ma because he was encountering a car with this kind of powertrain configuration for this time. So it's really quite impressive. I've been driving professional cars before. I'm a bit unfamiliar with mass-produced cars, but I've gradually got to know this car over the past few races. He accompanied me through a total of 11 stages, and I think both of his power and chassis are very good. Our T1 team, these drivers, these racers are extremely envious of this electric one. In fact, because of their group, it's all about this T1. So this group of people, after we've developed those cars and are testing them, we call them the first formula. They feel especially the 3.0 than a C Buddha. This one has more momentum. He said that the initial segment is faster than its P1 plus acceleration. It's fast. When it's powered on, it's faster than the T-Series professional cars. In the instant acceleration, and then you're thrown out in the middle, and you still feel like you have to put it back. That was too strong, this one. This is a bit like the current F1 rules. Now, a dedicated boat has been developed for him that doesn't require electricity, and it's not something you have to run manually. It means that in a steady state condition, there is no need for electricity. Without electricity, it maintains its state. So if the battery runs out during a corner on this F1, for him, his current form in F1 is the same. He also needs electricity. Also needs to overtake as soon as it opens the stone door. He's wiping the pot quickly. Now asking you a sharp question, and your honest answer is what matters. And so long, have you encountered any slopes that are not steep to climb during these years, many stages around the tower? No, not really, unless you run out of battery. No, he has the prerequisites. He has to understand how the car maintains this electricity supply. He also has to know that it is actually directly related to the zero bank. So at this time, we need to conserve some power as we're going to climb a steep slope up the great sandy mountain. At this point, it has plenty of power, and in fact, it can even recharge some when going downhill. So in off-road environments, power recovery can also be achieved while descending hills. So, Mr. Wei, when you're talking about off-road racing, you just can't stop, isn't it? Because your hands are so itching that you want to participate in the competitions as well. So, yeah, in the future, I think this group will definitely exist for a long time because electrification is inevitable and essential. In the future, engines will be assisted by electricity, which is an inevitable path. Therefore, they will all understand this in the future. So how can I ensure my phone is charged? How do I use it? On this journey, where do I need to charge my phone, and where is there large sand dune nearby? It's all said, he just starts moving. And he will be in charge of navigation. He also gave me advice. This part ultimately requires Mr. Ma to have ample opportunities and potential perform at his best during the competition. So today I wish you all the best for the entire race segment. So there are still 2 stages that are the longest and can be considered high-speed desert canyon stages. So where lies today's challenge? So today, we have actually been conserving our types throughout the whole journey, which is to say to protect them properly. Don't underestimate the importance of distributing your physical strength across these 2 stages. That's right, and finally, preserve until the end. So the charm of rally is that it's always uncertain. And at the moment you don't see the grid flag, you never know what will happen. So that's right. Thank you. Have a successful race today. Thank you for the smooth progress. So we made a round and we take a note to our friends. So let's have a short conversation here. So actually in this year, Mr. Yao's race has indeed provided a considerable amount, deeply provided considerable support to all of our competitors during the races, especially when drivers encountered problems with their cars in the desert and were facing difficulties. Mr. Yao and everyone say that your car door didn't seal properly this year. Can't it be opened? So how many people did you save in the competition this year? And what about the first half? It was indeed a bit of burden and pressure. So at the beginning of my statement, I say that if there's a life-threatening rollover accident in this year, I would definitely immediately stop the race and abandon it for rescue. However, if it's a live vehicle, I do respect the race, and then that's where I run to the position 6. Then we started, and we've already relaxed down. So after relaxing down, as long as I can help, I will help. But most importantly, we have quite a few cars participating in the GWM this year, including those from the clubs. And there are also more about cooperation. There are some difficult existing vehicles. Then, of course, I have to stop and help because my grades are already falling behind. But you can run very fast in the few stages. Actually, I think it's because of the desert. There are still little tricks to knowing how to navigate the desert. Modestly speaking, in this team, there's always someone playing that role. I could say our counter tower team, whether it's the GWM brand for us, and we are also neutral, and in terms of power machinery, and all our partners, and the McPherson shock absorber, including all our components and our component sponsors. So right, we also have our own mechanics here, our backyard, as well as our catering logistics support company, including our accommodation. We are operating on a team scale, and this is a team effort, and I hope that our co-creation model is becoming more and more widely. Through co-creation, we accumulate experience, communicate with each other. And the people, let's all of those us who love off-road driving but lack this broader environment supports them. We welcome those who love off-road adventures. Whether it's individuals or small teams, everyone is welcome to join us in this endeavor. Coming from the perspective of ecology, in this way we can greatly lower the threshold, making us more receptive to those who prefer it more. It's the off-road enthusiasts. All of you have all joined in fact, your participation is a support for the automotive industry. It is our responsibility and obligation to establish its ecosystem and promote it. We said that I believe that Dillimore is probably also ready to give it a try. Yes, and there's many female drivers now as well. There aren't a few female racers either, and I'm very interested in off-racing now. So if you have learned from the Mr. Yao, which is general, so Mr. Wei, this is really an entry-level course. So if you're gonna score him, what score will you give to him? Well, I would say a 9.6 points. Don't always praise. You're just flattering yourself. This is just one movement in your training. There were also times when there were 20 or 30 practices, for example, to cross this sandbar. And that practice would involve 20 or 30 repetitions. I think that's about it. Then we had to come back. So the desert is not quite the same as the Gobi. Of course, the Gobi is also dangerous. You see that some of the water gullies are quite dangerous. So is this still call on everyone to go off-road in the desert, off-road racing? Regardless of the type of off-road, there are dangers involved. So we must respect the environment, which means taking into account the capabilities of your vehicle on the course. Your driving ability, your experience in the accumulation, are all the fundamentals for us to have fun and excel at off-road driving. So that's why we're here. We hope everyone, while off-roading, you should make sure you have a good strategy and put an effort and do it right. Respect it, respect nature, safety first. Thank you. And now we have Alan here, your old friend.
Hi. 魏总，来来，没事没事。Yeah. So we are almost at the end of this year's race. So how do you feel? How do you feel about the whole team, and how do you feel about the Chinese drivers and also the international team's performance?
Okay. First and foremost, of course, we're very happy to be here with Mr. Jack Wey joining us. We had an excellent sleep, so I think we are revitalized and ready for the next two stages. 7,500 kilometers, I think we've done. Interesting to mention is that according to Nico, he has now raced for 45 hours. That's longer than in Dakar. So in fact, when we finish tomorrow, we will have done more race time in the car than Dakar. So this is truly exceptional Taklimakan rally.
Yeah.
So I was asking Alan just now, so for our whole competition of this year, there's only a small part left. So what he feels like in his mind, and then he said that our whole team support, and he thanked that Mr. Wei giving him such a great team and provides such great cars. And he's currently the leader of our current T2 team, Nicolas Carvilasso, was very surprised yesterday because he was now accumulating a total running time of 45 hours. The concept of 45 hours is already the driving time equivalent to the Dakar race.
Of course, a lot of hard work by Great Wall Motor, the engineers, the mechanics, the drivers, the logistics team to arrive here. So 2 more days to go. So I can assure you that everything is in place. All the strategies are in place to ensure that we have a great victory tomorrow. The team is collectively working together to ensure this. But of course, we need to wait for the end of the race.
So thanking the GWM group again for providing the cars and all the drivers here, for thanking the GWM always providing the car at its best condition. There are also various engineering and technical personnel. This is why, therefore, he has enabled them to achieve such good results. Also thank the General Manager Wey and the GWM Group. Additionally, he said that there is still 2 final stages left, and they have made the most perfect strategic planning and arrangements. Therefore, they hope to complete all the races smoothly and ultimately win. So, Mr. Wei, what do you want to discuss with them? There were a lot of things about our cars just now. To this scene, as all we know, it was our October last year. It was Alan, and our media discovered him. He's already been observing China's rally races because he went to endurance races, and Alan is a very experienced driver. And that's how Alan was discovered by our media. He has been observed. It can be said that very comprehensive operational expert for endurance race is crucial. Therefore, our achievement today is inseparable from the joint efforts of Alan, their dedicated team.
Particular area for over decades, so you are very experienced. And Mr. President, I appreciate your efforts to support us and lead the team to race this year.
I would like to comment that yes, I'm experienced and I have had 2 Dakar victories with another team in T1 Plus. But to be able to race with a production car is really exceptional. So this is the first time I discovered the power of hybrid technology in racing. Very unique experience for me. And also to discover how strong a production car can be to actually compete in a race such as Dakar and Taklimakan rally. So a true testimony about the strength of a Great Wall Motor tank model.
So he's saying about even though he is very experienced previously, the competition, but his expertise lies more in specialized professional teams. He has won the Dakar Championship twice within his field. This time, coming to our GWN group, he has been exposed to the hybrid mode of mass-produced vehicles for the. Therefore, he has a very deep impression. He believes that. He also hopes to learn more about it and understand our hybrid power more. So thank you very much. Waiting for you finish your journey and then you return.
Yeah, but only 2 stages.
Only 2 stages to go. Okay. And a very nice, fast stage today. So I think the drivers will look forward to discover Aksu region and see the mountain areas and the canyons there.
他也说呢，今天这个赛段的速度会非常的快，而且他相信车手们也非常期待进入到比赛过程当中，可以看到周围美丽的群山跟美丽的。
He's also said that the speed of the stage will be very fast today, and then he believes that the riders are also looking forward to getting into the racing. You can see the beautiful mountains and scenery around us. So there are only 2 more stages left, so we need to be careful and come back safely. And thank you very much. So next you can see many teams behind it, and also it's time for the final. At the very end of this topic, so Mr. Wei, you've seen the performance of all these teams, as well as, and we're now in a stage of readiness. What do you think of our Tank 700 for this year, the hybrid production vehicle? Get ready to take one more step forward and participate in more challenging competitions. As I mentioned just before, our broadcast. When it comes to this Taklimakan rally, it can be said we're preparing for bigger competitions through competition. You have mentioned this many times. This time we're making a 700 model modification. The strict modification are strictly in accordance with the FIA standards for major engine upgrades, which are internationally recognized. And for example, in terms of safety, and according to the International Automobile Federation, of course, our RCTA also has its own standards. Well, one thing about him is that from a regulatory standpoint and also a practical standpoint, we basically can't move it. So I like that one thing, which is that it can't move. By mid-autumn, this solicitation, this is from various teams until the Mid-Autumn Festival. Regarding your motivation, is it basically consistent with that of our original Toyota Land Rover? In fact, we're setting them a difficult problem because they don't have a hybrid mode. And yes, let's be honest about this hybrid. There are also pros and cons. For example, in terms of reliability, it adds an extra system which complicates things. Complicated systems have a higher probability of failure. But in terms of dynamism, we do have some advantages in terms of responsiveness. And maybe we also have this, for example, how to preserve battery life, which is given to the driver. This control strategy has brought many challenges. And yes, for example, our cooling system is now strictly in accordance with the requirements of the International Automobile Federation. This heat dissipation is unlike the current situation in China, where we can carry it on our backs and place it at the back. We cannot move it, we simply cannot. Therefore, it also gives us, this involves some modifications, which presents a significant challenge. So this year, we are well prepared. We have been accumulating data experience, and our driver also understands China. As you just heard, that the car doesn't say anything that against us. And that's why they also need to learn from Chinese venues. That's right, Chinese hybrid power cars using our experience to compete on international tracks. So the proportionality, you just went through this lap, and you saw our domestic drivers as well as international ones. Do you also feel a bit of that? I've been training for... I participate in the rally practice with some and having unexpected thrills. I've watched videos and live broadcast. I've haven't been so close to it before. Today, I'm here with the GWM team and Mr. He and Mr. Wei here to experience it up close. The sound of the car engines is very exciting. They crossed the Taklimakan Desert all the way, which has already dangerous. Yes, they were not competing, they were jointly accomplishing something. It wasn't about conquering the desert, but rather understanding our beautiful Xinjiang and the Taklimakan Desert. So I'm very moved. I heard that Xinjiang has a traditional welcome our heroes, so warriors returning home receive a triumph gift. And in our hearts, they were now completely the heroes of our Taklimakan rally, indeed the heroes of off-road world. Therefore, we also have some gifts with ethnic characteristics as well as rituals. So of course that's possible. It just so happens today we are also visiting Aksu and can stroll around here. So the enlightenment is great. So now let's see what our stairs is. Of course, it's Dilinor who comes up with the planning and recommendations because we don't quite understand the local customs. She is from the local. So now it's you and Dilly's task to prepare the gift. We won't tell everyone about it for now, but we'll give it to you later. The netizens here. And I still want to say this final sentence. Well, the Tower Ray Rally was a fantastic event this year. This means this Taklimakan Rally is not only constantly growing, but our partners, our components even, these teams that have nothing to do with cars and are extremely crazy about the passionate about rallying. So, Outside of this competition, we are friends, and on the track, we are competitors. And let's not forget unity. I hope that our Chinese automotive industry can achieve this together. So, come on, GWM, and come on, everybody. Goodbye. So thank you, President Wei, and all the drivers fighting on the front lines. Of course, I would also like to thank every people in front of the screen. And our drivers have crossed mountains and seas for all the scenery off-road dream in their mind. So, the GWM has held on to this off-road racing for over decades, taking into over these past 10 years or so, we have witnessed a magnificent scenery of the Great Xinjiang, the indomitable spirit of the drivers, and the warmth of unity and mutual support on the real race course. So promoting the popularization of off-road culture in China and the comprehensive prosperity of the automotive event ecosystem, as well as helping Chinese automobiles advance from a major country to a powerful one, are the long-term goals of GWM. And this goal cannot be achieved without the dedication of every member of Great Wall's team. In addition, we would like to express our special gratitude to Chairman Wey for leading the future and Chengdu Xun Yi for their full support in the providing communication support for this year's Taklimakan rally. This communication across the Gobi Desert and vast uninhabited areas during the Tower event is not only a bridge connecting the competition venue with the audience, but also an important guarantee for the live broadcast and emergency rescue. Under the overall coordination of the GWM Technology Center, Chairman Wey provides a satellite network resource support and a leadership. Future and Chengdu Yunxin provides satellite communication equipment and the technical support, jointly building a communication support system that covers the entire event. Let us signal the cross the uninhabited areas. So today we have the R&D department at GWM Technology Center and Mr. Zhao, the supervisor engineer of the hybrid system GWM Technology Center. Welcome both of you. So, what are the noteworthy competitions, achievements, and the memorable moments? So, there are countless memorable moments. Let's start with the pre-event highlight. So, Mr. Wei personally issued a global recruitment order to invite top-tier drivers worldwide to compete with the GWM. This is not merely introducing foreign drivers for better results, but building an international communication platform for Chinese drivers at home. In the past, Chinese drivers had to go abroad and compete with Dakar-level experts. Very high cost. Now Chinese and foreign drivers can compete on the same track, allowing local drivers to learn world-class experience. Just now at the live stream side, Mr. Wei attended the starting ceremony of SS12 in person to cheer for our warriors embarking on ultimate Gobi stage. So, what touches me more than competition results in this off-road spirit demonstrated by all drivers? Many drivers mention in interview that they will stop to help any trapped vehicle regardless of brand or group. Whether it is stuck in sand, suffering a two-wheel drive failure or falling into typical soft sand pits. For example, Mr. Tim, leader Yao, took the initiative to stop 4 times our first stage and rescue 4 vehicles. Speed matters in racing, but what warmth and sense of responsibility on track is even more touching. So, another highlight is our solid technical strength. Wang Huijun, driving the number 261 Tank 700 High 40, suffered a right rear tire blowout only 3 kilometers after departure. Nevertheless, he successfully completed the brutal tire crusher stage, relying on the remaining 3 tires. So indeed, the GWM group have shown human warmth and solid strength. So why do we invest heavily in building an international team lineup? What benefit does bring to the domestic Chinese drivers? So as mentioned earlier, our core goal is to build an international communication platform for Chinese drivers right at their doorstep. So this year, we built an international team consisting of 12 groups of top Chinese and foreign drivers, including Spanish veteran fares with 20 years of Dakar racing experience. Pao Navarro, the youngest ever Dakar T3 category champion, Rebecca Bussi, a new generation leader in female off-road rally racing, as well as elite domestic drivers such as 2025 Taklimakan champion Yao Weiqiang and Ningxia King Ma Hailong. So this platform enables Chinese and foreign drivers to train and compete together, allowing domestic drivers to communicate to learn from world-class peers directly on the Taklimakan track. It not only lowers the growth threshold for domestic drivers, but also makes the Taklimakan rally a genuine bond connecting global off-road cultures. So furthermore, this international technical exchange is two-way. So foreign drivers bring cutting-edge experience in driving insights from top events as the Dakar Rally. So understood, this serves both a talent training platform and a technical exchange bridge. So what are the strategic original intentions and the value considerations behind it? So GW has been deeply engaged in the off-road field for 36 years, covering almost all major off-road resorts across the country. Over the years, we have not only manufactured vehicles but also achieved substantial results. We developed China's first all-terrain off-road system. We independently developed the self-developed large displacement 3.0T and 980 powertrain, and we also launched the well-received High 40 and High 4Z hybrid systems. There are so many other achievements that we will not elaborate on one by one, but however, just the starting point. So since 2024, we have successfully released classification standards for off-road vehicles, off-road scenarios and driving skills, officially establishing a 3-in-1 off-road classification system covering drivers' vehicle roads. So in 2025, we inaugurated our off-road testing base in the Gobi Desert. It serves not only an R&D testing site, but also a testing base for off-road rallies and a training base for our Desert Off-Road Academy, integrating technical verification and talent training location. So when it comes to motorsport culture, our philosophy is straightforward. The track is the best testing ground. We have persisted in participating in top-tier events such as the Dakar Rally and Taklimakan Rally since 2006. In our view, every kilometer of the track provides valuable data, and every extreme scenario tests and verifies core components including engines, transmissions, and chassis. So yes, actually, from Mr. Liu's introduction, we learned that GWA have established a comprehensive off-road classification system. Off-road vehicle owners lack driving confidence, and off-road vehicle owners lack driving confidence and dare not tackle complex road conditions for years of vehicle trapping and safety risk. What practical problems can GWM's off-road classification system solve for users? So in fact, this off-road classification system is designed to solve users' problems of daring not to explore off-road and not knowing how to explore off-road, serving as a dynamic map and all-around guide for off-road driving. So firstly, it helps us users choose the right vehicle. We evaluate vehicles based on more than 70 indicators, including traffic capability, power performance, and safety configurations, dividing them into 4 levels: urban, SUV, general off-road, strong off-road, and extreme off-road. Users were no longer confused by complicated parameters and can clearly know the applicable scenarios of their vehicles. So it helps users recognize road conditions. We scientifically classify the difficulties of typical scenarios such as snow, mud, sand, and mountain roads, with snow scenarios subdivided into 10 levels. This enables users to predict risks in advance and avoid blindly entering challenging terrains beyond their capability. So thirdly, it helps us users to improve driving skills. We classify drivers' capabilities into 4 levels: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and professional, covering 4 dimensions: experience, equipment, theory, and driving skills. Through training systems such as the Off-Road Academy, Taklimakan champion drivers provided professional teaching on route selection and avoid tapping, speed control for sloped climbing, and other practical skills. So in short, the vehicle classification serves as a car purchase guide, scenario classification as a safety guide, and skill classification as a growth guide. Users can judge road difficulty based on scenario classification, evaluate their own driving abilities through skill classification, and select matching vehicles to enjoy off-road driving full confidence. So the classification guidelines give users more confidence in car selection. So however, how does GWM Group help users avoid such pitfalls through motorsports culture and off-road ecosystem? So many vehicles on the market have an off-road appearance but fail easily in desert conditions. We have 2 effective methods to help users avoid pitfalls. So first, take motorsport as a true tester. Genuine off-road vehicles there to participate in Taklimakan rally and complete brutal stages in mass-produced specifications. The tank vehicles sold in 4S stores share the same core foundation as the Taklimakan Championship racing cars. So second, to sum up, prioritize practical verification over appearance and value real combat performance over theoretical parameters. So Mr. Zhao's explanation is very straightforward. When choosing vehicles, many off-road enthusiasts only focus on tough appearance while ignoring core qualities such as chassis performance, heat dissipation, and sealing performance. From the perspective of Taklimakan Rally practical experience, how to guide users to establish correct cognition for off-road vehicle selection usage. So Taklimakan Rally practice fully proves that appearance is only a bonus, while reliability is the core strength. Genuine hardcore off-road capabilities lie in underlying performances including chassis structure, suspension durability, high-temperature heat dissipation, vehicle dust sealing, and power calibration. For example, our trucks with surface temperatures exceeding 70 degrees and inadequate heat dissipation system will lead to engine torque limitation and overheating, which cannot be judged from vehicle appearance. Therefore, through rally lift forecasts, driver interviews, and post-event technical analysis, we demonstrate real track working conditions and elaborate those invisible core qualities, conveying the message that internal foundation of off-road vehicles is far more important than its appearance. So thank you, Mr. Liu. Moving beyond vehicle selection, so let's discuss deeper topics. An increasing number of ordinary people are falling in love with off-road traversing and long-distance self-driving tours. What driving effect do you think the Taklimakan Rally has on civilian off-road culture and self-driving communities? So the Taklimakan serves as a weather vane for civilian off-road activities. It fully presents extreme off-road conditions and real vehicle usage scenarios, making more people understand that off-road driving is not about radical modification or reckless speeding, but about safe traversal, reliable companionship, and respect for nature. In the meanwhile, the rally unites off-road enthusiasts across the country and drives the popularity of self-driving, camping, and long-distance traversing. It is promoting the maturity and the rational development of China's civilian off-road culture. And the GWN have built a comprehensive domestic off-road ecosystem and classification standards. What special significance does this domestic verified standard system have for GWM's global expansion? And how does this in-depth domestic market cultivation empower our globalization strategy? To simply put, all these achievements stem from solid and substantial accumulation. We have more than 2,000 5,000 professional off-road engines dedicated to technical research, supported by real user feedback from over 4 million off-road vehicle users worldwide and hundreds of millions of kilometers of off-road practical data. Taking High 40 as example, the engines has completed over 16 hours of verification, the transmission over 20,000 hours, and the entire vehicle has accumulated more than 12 million kilometers of verification mileage. Therefore, our understanding of off-road scenarios and users' needs is completely different from brands that only rely on laboratory theoretical data. All our experience is accumulated from real combat tests, which is the core competitiveness that cannot easily be replicated. So it can be said that the most domestic market have completed all basic and rigorous tests. And the interactions for us, the system covering core technologies and ecological operations is fully mature. With this practical experience, we can better integrate into overseas markets and provide localized services. So in 2025, our sales exceeded 500,000 units. So as mentioned, does it mean that GWM's globalizations have entered a new stage from going global to integrating into local markets? So the first question, the co-driving factor of the 500,000 unit sales milestone is our strategic transformation from product expert to ecology expert. To date, we have entered a stage of in-depth local integration in overseas markets, supported by three core pillars. So first, the deep cultivation of systematic capabilities. In the past, GWM simply sold vehicles overseas. In recent years, however, we have built full process vehicle manufacturing plants in Brazil, Thailand, and other regions, and established local R&D and testing systems in Australia. This is not simple capacity relocation, but localized deeply of the full value chain covering R&D, production, supply, sales, and service. And secondly, premium capability driven by technological confidence. We no longer rely on cost performance to compete in overseas markets. When our high-4 hybrid technology matrix was launched in Australia, it directly competed with established local brands. The tank series have secured a solid position in the high-end markets in the Middle East. And third, the brand integration and ecosystem construction. Instead of going global with the separate brands such as Haval and Tank, we promote a unified one GWM image. We have sponsored top local events such as the AFL Australian Football League in Australia, integrating the brand into local culture and lifestyle and building user connections with productions and build communities. So the question number 2, we have entered a new stage of integration. My answer is yes. The key lies qualitative change. We are no longer passers-by overseas. Local enterprises. President Lula attended and signed at the launch of our Brazil factory. In Australia, 200,000 users have formed active for communities such as tank clubs. All this shows that we are bringing accepted favored by local societies. So we are building cars in the world and for the world. So thank you both. When it comes to globalization, many Chinese automakers are talking about it today, but each takes a different path. How does GWM judge which capabilities of Chinese automakers overseas consumers are ultimately willing to pay for? In which dimension does GWM hope to build its global perception in the future? So, I believe overseas consumers are willing to pay for 3 core capabilities of Chinese automakers. First, hardcore technology and product adaptability. Users choose us not because we are cheap, but because we solve real problems. For example, we developed plug-in hybrid systems tailored for the ethanol fuel in Brazil, an exclusive collaboration for off-road towing in Australia. Technology is not for showing off specifications, but for meeting real needs. And the second, long-term quality and safety reputation. Safety is GWM's bottom line. We own the only fully self-developed safety test laboratory among global automakers. The tank series have received ANCMP 5-star ratings in Australia, which is the best proof that safety is the ultimate luxury. And third, deeply rooted localized services. Users by not just the car, but years of reliable usage support. Through our ecosystem globalization strategy, we have built factories and R&D centers in Brazil and Thailand, localizing the entire R&D production, supply, sales, service chain. We also conduct validation across 6 dimensions: regulations, temperature, attitude, road conditions, fuel quality, and driving habits, covering over 10 million kilometers across 187 road types each year, ensuring the vehicle performs reliably no matter where it is driven. So, on the dimension where we hope to build global recognition, simply put, we aim to shift from product export to trust export. Specifically, there are 3 points. So, first, born global, diversely adapted, no one-size-fits-all approach. Since climate, terrain, and energy structure vary across markets, we provide tailored solutions. We respect users' real choices and enable fair access to technologies that suits them. And second, delivering promises across the full life cycle. We want users to enjoy stable driving, long-lasting performance, fast maintenance, and strong residual value. In short, we ensure peace of mind and reliability from purchase to usage to resale. Third, rising above low-price competition to win voluntary choice instead of fighting cut-short price wars. Rely on reliability, reliable quality, and strong local adaptability. So users choose us out of recognition and recommend us voluntarily after experiencing our products. So thank you both for the wonderful sharing. Finally, let's return to the origin. From the racetrack to the users, what do the 3 elements Taklimakan rally, technical validation, off-road grinding system, and global layout ultimately aim to achieve? What values does GWM hope to convey through off-road culture? So these 3 elements have seemed separate, but they share the same core goal: to turn off-roading from an adventure for the few into a passion for many, while making this passion confident, secure, and standardized. So Taklimakan Rally validates the real capability, using the strictest racing standards to test mass production technologies, which then benefit every vehicle owned by users. The off-road grading system acts as a safety line, helping users understand which vehicles suit which terrains, their own skills levels, and how to progress safely. The global layout expands the great stage, bringing the technological strengths and culture philosophy of all Chinese off-roads. So for GWM, the motorsport is not an optional course for automakers, but a mandatory question for building an automotive powerhouse. The off-road spirit we want to convey is simple. So now, thank you. So let's say GWM groups keep going. So okay, so today this is
GWM. Go with more. GWM, go with more. GWM, go with more. GWM, go with